The crisp morning air swept across the pondside lodge, carrying the earthy fragrance of tilled soil and blooming flora. Everything on the farm reflected careful preparation. The irrigation channels channeled water with precision, livestock roamed under monitored supervision, and the pond glistened as the centerpiece of both utility and beauty. Yet the peace of the day was threatened once again by the audacious interference of HOA Karen. She had dialed emergency services the instant I arrived home, convinced that her call could assert control over the property. What she did not anticipate was that her intrusion would collide headlong with foresight, preparation, and strategic authority. I arrived at the lodge, observing every approach and pathway. Karen, ever confident in her assumptions, had already underestimated the depth of planning and legal oversight protecting the property. She had intended to provoke, disrupt, or compel action, but her intrusion faced the reality of a fully operational farm, fortified both physically and procedurally. Every entrance to the lodge, every movement near the pond, and every system controlling the land had been meticulously monitored to prevent unauthorized interference. Upon entry, I immediately assessed the situation. Karen's emergency call, meant to manipulate or intimidate, had been rendered ineffective by prior preparation. Security systems, surveillance networks, and the legal documentation of property rights ensured that any enforcement attempt would be entirely without merit. Karen's audacity was met not with confrontation, but with calm authority and strategic oversight. Throughout the day, I maintained vigilant monitoring of the property. Every access point was secured, every operational system observed, and every potential escalation anticipated. Karen's attempts to manipulate the situation were consistently countered by careful preparation, ensuring that the farm's operations remained uninterrupted. The pond, the lodge, and the surrounding fields continued to function seamlessly, demonstrating that audacity alone cannot override knowledge and lawful authority. In addition to physical oversight, I implemented strategic communication measures. Alerts and notifications ensured that every team member and participant on the property was aware of the situation, allowing coordinated responses if necessary. Karen's intrusion was rendered harmless, and her attempts to assert control were systematically neutralized. Her misjudgment became increasingly apparent as the day progressed, highlighting the futility of attempting to disrupt operations governed by both law and preparation. By afternoon, the property was fully secure. The pond reflected sunlight undisturbed, the lodge remained fortified, and the surrounding fields and irrigation systems continued their work flawlessly. Karen, observing from a distance, realized too late that her assumptions had no grounding in reality. Every attempt at intrusion had been anticipated, every audacious move countered, and every system remained under strategic control. As evening fell, the sun cast warm reflections across the pond, bathing the lodge and surrounding farm in golden light. Karen's interference had been completely neutralized, leaving a permanent record of audacity confronted by preparation and authority. The farm's sovereignty, its operational systems, and its inhabitants remained fully protected, untouchable, and resilient. By nightfall, the property lay calm, its systems secure, and its structures reinforced. Karen's attempt at interference had failed entirely, leaving behind evidence of her misjudgment and the farm's enduring authority. The pond, the lodge, and the surrounding fields stood as symbols of strategic foresight, legal protection, and the power of preparation in the face of intrusion. The day's events underscored an essential truth: boldness without knowledge, intrusion without authority, and presumption without preparation are powerless. The farm, its systems, and its occupants remained sovereign and fully protected. Karen's audacity had been neutralized completely, leaving the property untouchable, resilient, and fully operational. A living demonstration that foresight, planning, and lawful authority always triumph over recklessness and assumption.